in ensuring what the Federal Judicial Academy determines, in particular the manner of nominations. I'm pleased to note that it's merit-based, and that how the Federal Judicial Academy don't want to, since the details have already been mentioned, I don't want to repeat those, and it will bring about necessary consistency. It will enhance public confidence. After all, the first place of interaction of a litigant is not with the High Court or with the Supreme Court. It is with the civil judge, with the judicial magistrate. And we want to make them to raise their status to a position where further appeals stop. If the quality of justice administered at the first tier is such that it is found not only acceptable, but peers and superiors consider the decision, then it reduces the burden on other courts higher up in the hierarchy. And this concept that has developed in the country of taking virtually every matter right up to the Supreme Court before one is satisfied must come to an end if we want the system to survive. We must also ensure that the frivolous kind of litigation or no consequence litigation, what do I have to lose to go to the Supreme Court? At the worst, my case will be dismissed. That should also be repelled, and costs, and where necessary, substantial costs should be imposed to discourage this kind of litigation where you think you do have nothing to lose. A tenant may say, okay, fine, I'll continue staying in the premises for another 20 years. Eventually, I will be told by the Supreme Court to leave the premises, but I still gain 20 years. Similarly, I'll continue breaching the contract I entered into. At the end, okay, what happens? The only way to stem this kind of frivolous litigation is the imposition of costs. Of course, these have to be done in a way which is uniform amongst all. It should not be too much of a variant. One judge does it, another judge doesn't do it, another judge imposes very heavy costs, and such and so forth. The structure of the Constitution that is set out, it is the higher courts which are the supervisors of the subordinate courts under Article 203, and the decisions of the higher courts are binding on all subordinate courts under Article 201. The similar provision that enables the decisions of the Supreme Court binding on all other courts is Article 189 of the Constitution. I am very happy to see that technology is being used. Technology has also been used, now is being used in the Supreme Court, in that the first case as Chief Justice that I presided over was the Supreme Court Practice and Procedure Act case. It's to determine its constitutionality, and that was broadcast live throughout Pakistan. When certain cases of public importance are broadcast live, it also is an educational tool. Judges learn, lawyers learn, litigants learn, they understand what is the dispute about, and I hope that confidence is established in the common citizen that he is seeing justice being done. And he may not agree with us, and that's the fundamental right of every citizen to disagree with us, but he will see how it is being done. I can have a different point of view from someone else's, and that other person's point of view I would respect as well, even if it is in complete disagreement with my own. But it ensures that it brings about a level of transparency. It brings about a level of openness, and I think, hope, and expect that it brings about a level of, it works as an educational tool as well. There are, of course, downsides for judges, including myself, because when I go home, my wife says, you were slouching, you were not sitting properly. So there are downsides to it as well. So, but that is for us to suffer, and not for others. Previously, we weren't too bothered about these things, but one has to be a bit more cautious. I'm very happy to know that technology, how it's being used, and technology is a tool, just as the qalam mentioned in the Holy Quran was a tool. Now we have further technology, and we must use these tools to gain knowledge. And what does a judge possess? A judge possesses primarily, he should know the law and as much of it as possible, so that helps in making him or her a better judge. So I'm very happy about the WhatsApp groups that had been, and I'm particularly pleased to note that it is not what the Federal Judicial Academy determines the judges required to be taught or be provided expertise in, but the demand is now coming from the judges in the training need assessment, abbreviated as TNA. And this is very good, because I don't know something, I reach out, and the Federal Judicial Academy, if it thinks that there are a considerable number of people who want to be assisted in this regard, they make a program and reach out to them and train them in that regard. I'm very happy that excursions are also being provided by the Academy. I would stress one aspect, if I may recommend to Justice Shah and to the Director General of the Academy, which is the future really, and that is being aware of the environment, being aware of environmental problems, learning of conservation, preserving limited resources, pollution, climate change. Because if we do not conserve the environment, then there is no future. That is fundamental, not just for this generation, but if you care about your children and grandchildren, this is something you have to. It's no longer optional, you must. You must also teach them to use the wonderful things called legs provided by the Almighty, and use less and less of motor cars. Cycles are also a very good option. Conserves waste of imported fuel, adding to the greenhouse gases, etc. There is other kinds of waste also which I would suggest and recommend that it should not be used. I saw plaques of, I had forbidden a plaque of mine being put up anywhere in Balochistan when I was Chief Justice Balochistan, and the Director General, I can direct not to put up any plaque with my name on it. So this is a complete waste of resources. If people have done something wonderful, the coming generations, their peers, will remember them in their hearts, and that's the best way to remember them, and not waste a piece of metal or paint and put it on a wall. That's not how we should be remembered. We should be remembered in what one writes, what one teaches, what one has, and what one has given to society. I think that is very important. In conclusion, I would thank the Federal Judicial Academy and the participants. Particularly, I believe that I'm also addressing the district judiciary throughout Pakistan, that we look to you. You should not look to us. We look to you to ensure that the public confidence in the judiciary is raised. people have confidence in court. We look to you to ensure fairness. We look to you to ensure that when two litigants come before you, you do not discriminate between them, you treat them equally. We look to you to ensure that all lawyers are treated with respect. Give respect, you get respect. We look to you to ensure that while senior counsel are given respect, juniors are assisted whenever they can be, and all these things is a fundamental feature of our faith, ikhlaq. Ikhlaq there must be in judges, and when there is in us, I'm confident that it will be reciprocated by the litigants and the lawyers. As a practicing lawyer for more years than I've been a judge, I did not mind what was decided by the judge, even if he decided against me. I did mind how I was treated in court, and I was given as much time as the other side, and that is very important. So the principal feature of our system is justice must not only be done, but be seen to be done. This is something which one must keep reminding oneself of. I try to remind myself of this every day. In conclusion, I would like to thank first and foremost Justice Mansoor Ali Shah. I think all of you agree that he was the right man for the job. I would like to thank Hayat Ali Shah Sahab, the Director General of the Federal Judicial Academy. I would like to thank a volunteer. I was informed, Sher Shah Khan, who's done some wonderful work, assisted with the Federal Judicial Academy. I would like to thank the international organizations that have been mentioned, and the UN Women in particular. I was just wondering why not UN Men. Anyways, heartfelt thanks to the UN Women. Maybe the UN Men should learn something from them and come forward and assist the Federal Judicial Academy as well. I would like to thank the National Information Technology Board for their help. And with knowledge, you can never say, I have acquired all the knowledge that is. It's a continuous process, and I'm very happy that this Judicial Academy is becoming a more interactive, proactive organization, and reaching out as opposed to the Federal Judicial Academy being somewhere nobody quite knows where it is or what it does. And we must also acknowledge the fact that the world, we cannot see it in isolation anymore, and the fact that Justice Shah has taken an initiative to involve the academia of other countries and reaching out to judges to spare some time and deliver lectures online, if not physically. That's commendable, because we must have connectivity with other centers of knowledge throughout the world, and encourage, I would add my voice to his appeal that the Chief Justices of the provinces should encourage when their judges of their provinces achieve something and they want to be trained or want to go for further studies. That should definitely be encouraged, because they will bring back something valuable to be shared with their peers and will enrich the system. And I would now thank all of you for inviting me. I did not quite do much other than preside over a board meeting. The other two board meetings that I presided over, and this I have, if you want to change the future, how do you do it simply? Educate people, assist them in attaining expertise in the relevant field. That's how you can change immediately the future. It can start immediately. And it is for this very reason when the message of that is in the Holy Quran, the very first word was Iqra. It could have been so many other things. It could have been namaz, roza, zakat, hajj. Iqra, read. And from reading, knowledge, learning, the use of the pen. The very first direction from above there was that. And what is that? Acquisition of knowledge. Go to China if you have to acquire knowledge, a hadith of the Prophet. And with these words, I thank you all for your patience. Thank you.
फेडरल जुडिशल अकेडमी
चीफ जस्टिस ऑफ पाकिस्तान जस्टिस काजी फ़ैज़ इस्लामाबाद में तकरीब से खिताब कर रहे थे। उन्होंने कहा कि कानून के तालिब इल्म केसेस की बराह रास्त समाज से फ़ायदा उठा सकते हैं। उन्होंने कहा कि फेडरल जुडिशल अकेडमी मजबूत बोर्ड के तहत काम कर रही है। बोर्ड में अहम शख्सियात शामिल हैं। मुल्क भर में 3200 जजेज़ अहम फ़राइज़ अंजाम दे रहे हैं। अहम खबर दें आपको, मंडी बहाउद्दीन में जुल्म बर्बरियत की इंतहा हो गई। फलों के पैसे मांगने पर मुसल्लह मुलजिमान ने दुकानदार को कत्ल कर दिया। डंडे मुक्कों से बदतरीन तशद्दुद करके फल फरोश को मौत के घाट उतारा। दुकानदार जुल्फ़िकार ने फल की रकम का तकाजा किया था। मुलजिमान फरार हो गए, पुलिस की जानिब से बताया गया है। तफसीलात जान लेते हैं बोल न्यूज़ के नुमाइंदे ज़हीर सियाल से। ज़हीर, मज़ीद क्या मालूम हो सका, पुलिस की जानिब से क्या बताया गया है?
जी बिल्कुल, इंतहाई अफसोसनाक वाक़या पेश आया है। पुलिस सर्कल फालिया की हदूद में जहां मुसल्लह अफराद ने फल फरोश दुकानदार को बदतरीन तशद्दुद का निशाना बनाते हुए मौत के घाट उतार दिया है। पुलिस राय के मुताबिक मकतूल 60 साल जुल्फ़कार ने फूड शॉप बना रखी थी। जहां मुसल्लह अफराद ने चंद सौ रुपए का फ्रूट खरीद कर जाने लगे तो दुकानदार ने रकम का तकाजा कर दिया। जहाँ तू तकरार पर दुकानदार को मुसल्लह मुक्कों की सुन्नत से बदतरीन तशद्दुद का निशाना बनाते हुए जहाँ दुकानदार मारपीट बर्दाश्त न कर सका और दम